To quote the late, great George Michael, not everybody does it, but everybody should. Really? Is that possible? We're talking about intimacy this morning, sex, and it turns out this pandemic is just doing a number on our intimacy. So joining us right now is sex therapist. She's the founder of the Center for Love and Sex NYC, Sari Cooper. So great to have you on this morning. I want to know, why are people having less intimacy? Where did their groove go?
So there are a lot of, thank you for having me. There are a lot of issues that are playing out right now since the quarantine started. One is the fact that we're working harder and longer hours, especially those couples who have children at home. The other thing, there's significant increase in depressive anxiety and loneliness factors. In fact, 32% of people responded to a study saying they were depressed, and 54% increase in loneliness. So parents are wearing a lot of hats, and they're overworked and fatigued and depleted, I would say. In addition, they're spending a lot more hours online if they're working virtually, and that has a fatigue all of its own. I know people, who've talked, and clients who've talked about the headache. And then they're worried that they may get their family sick if they're going out into an office or they're a frontline worker. And lastly, there are a lot of hours that couples are spending at home together if they're both working from home, which they don't usually do. And there's almost no opportunity for them to miss one another. And it's almost too much closeness, actually.
You bring up some pretty valid points, but I wonder what we do to bring intimacy back, because you're right, a lot of folks are around each other all the time, working all the time, juggling, homeschooling while working. So what can we do to bring intimacy back?
So I ask clients to create a sex date. And by that, I mean a full menu when I talk about sex or intimacy. I ask them to find a time, carve out time. They can compromise on the time, right? Some partners like early morning, some partners are more night owls, but they have to actually compromise on a time that works for them. And then the other thing is allocate more time than just for the intimacy itself, meaning the sexual encounter, because people need time to transition out of their work head. Clients tell us all the time that they need help to unwind, to relax, to get more embodied. So it's important that you get a time that works, that's a little kind of with buffers on either side of it. And also, when I talk about sex, I talk about a wide menu of activities, not just penetrative sex, and not necessarily with a goal in mind. It's really about a pleasure and intimate experience. And so don't go into it with thinking that it has to have A, B, C. Think about it as like a broad menu, or in a restaurant, or like even a buffet of things that you might want to try today. I'm in the mood for this. I'm in the mood for that.
The buffet. I like the way you're thinking, Doc. I have to say though, the next tip you say, the old adage, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Spend time away from your partner. Difficult to do when some of us are still working from home or quarantining from home. But is that true? Does absence really make the heart grow fonder? Or are you just like, what, I've spent so much time away from you, and I actually like this life away from you?
I actually do think there has to be, almost like a flame needs oxygen. You need space in order to have a synapse of spark. And I think that time away could even be going for a run, one person going for a run, spending time going for a walk in the park with a friend. You have different aspects and parts of your personality that get inspired when you spend it doing activities that you love or with friends. And so, and then you bring all that energy that you've created back to your partner. And so it really feeds on itself.
All right, Sari Cooper, the founder of the Center for Love and Sex NYC, thank you so much. We appreciate your time and your advice.